Hello, everyone, and welcome back to White Coat Chronicles with Tori. So here we are, Friday, April 5th, the Friday before I upload this on Monday. I'm kind of liking doing this Friday just because, wait, it's actually Saturday. I'm so silly. Anyway, I like doing the recording during the weekend and then uploading it on Monday. It went well last time. And I think I'm going to keep up with it, but I'm not going to hold myself to it. We'll see. But for now, Mondays is the day. So first off, I just want to say thank you to everyone that listened to my last episode, my updates, changing where I'm going to medical school, how I'm feeling through this whole process. I just got some great feedback from some people and really just connected about how this process is mentally. And I really, really liked it. I listened back to it, of course, a couple of days after I posted it. And I was like, damn, I can't believe we posted this one. I was just being so honest and in my feels, but I'm glad I have that episode to look back on. And I'm glad I was able to relate to some of you guys. So this past week was kind of hard at work. Where do I even begin? Basically, to sum it up, I have an interesting relationship with my boss, to say the least. My boss is a pain management doctor, and her whole vibe towards me just shifted this week. Maybe she realized I'm leaving soon. I don't know, but we're apparently besties now. So we'll see how long this lasts. But despite that, there were some hard patients this week, some really sad cases. And like I said, I'm a medical assistant for a pain management doctor. So it's a lot of joint aches. We do hyaluronic acid injections to knees, shoulders. We do hydrodissections, nerve blocks to people's cervical spine, their lumbar spine, their IT bands. Basically just people around 50 and up is about the average demographic that we treat, because obviously as you get older, your body starts to fail you. And most of the patients that come to us have active lifestyles and want to continue with their quality of life, which is movement, if you think about it. So this week, though, we had a young case, and it's just hard to see younger people in the office because I'm so exposed to just older people. And I don't know, without getting into it too much, I just realized this week that your health is really everything. And without it, there's very little you can do. And that's mental health, physical health, emotional health, and especially moving. There's one thing whenever you're sick with a cold and you can't smell or taste and it sucks and you feel kind of lethargic. But then there's another thing when you can't get up out of bed and you can't go from sit to stand, and it's hard. But I mean, I feel that concept that your health is everything is always something that I acknowledge, but sometimes I just need a little reminder of how true that statement is. And this week, I definitely got a couple reminders. Anyway, let's get into high, low, piccolo. Okay, high. It didn't happen yet, but it's happening tomorrow, and I'm really excited for it. My friend Shannon, if you're listening, hi. By the time you listen to this, you'll have your white coat. Shannon goes to Columbia for her physical therapy doctorate, and she has her white coat ceremony tomorrow, April 6th. And I'm so, so excited to be going and seeing her kind of mark this accomplishment for where she's at now. Okay, quick pause. I'm really annoyed. These are the times that I get annoyed living at home. Today, Katie, my younger sister, decided to wash Asher, and her boyfriend, Nico, just got here, and they're screaming upstairs trying to wash our 100-pound silver lab. So I'm going to keep recording, but if you hear barking and screaming, just know that's what's going on. Okay, low Kind of random, but I've just been eating really bad this week. I would say like I'm overall a healthy eater. And funny enough, your girl is starting to eat meat and chicken again after like almost 4 years of being a pescatarian and having fish as my main protein. But I don't know. I go through phases where I'm like really into like cooking for myself and eating well. And then I go through other phases where I'm like, I don't really care what I'm eating. I just want to eat. And this week has been one of those weeks. So we'll try to get back on track next week. And Piccolo, this is a fun, silly one this week. Me and Katie, my younger sister, went to a paint and sip on Thursday night. And it was so fun. It was like a group of 8 of us, and me and my sister were the youngest ones, but it was just very therapeutic. I feel like everyone says like painting, coloring, drawing is such a therapeutic thing. Yet I just don't find myself like creative or drawn to doing any of that stuff. But I wanted to try it, and my sister was free that night. So we did it, and I loved it. I messed up my painting a bit, but still, it's still in my room hanging. So that's that. All right. So now to get into the episode of the week, we are going to be talking about things I wish I knew when it came to applying to medical school. Now, here's the little disclaimer. I am obviously not a medical school counselor, and I don't even know if these things that I wish I knew were the correct things, but having gone through the experience and the whole process and now going to medical school, I just want to talk about it because I was just like lying in bed last night or the night before, and I'm like just thinking of different episodes, and I felt a calling to do this one because there's just a lot of things fresh in my mind about what I wish I would have done, what I wish I would have known about, where to get good resources from, all of that. So let's get into it. Okay, starting from the beginning, I think it is super beneficial to go to an undergrad, college, university that has an affiliation with a medical school. I had no idea about this. Like, I knew I wanted to be a doctor in high school. I wanted to go into healthcare, but I was not like looking at colleges based on that. I was like, where do I fit in? Where's a good place? Where's a good location? And I would not change where I went to college. I had the best experience ever at my college. But I'm just like trying to think of myself giving advice to someone else that hasn't started anything yet. And I would say it would be good to go to an undergrad that has an affiliation with a medical school. It's just pretty self-explanatory, just easier. Kind of might have a more linear path to get into that school, and lots of schools favor their undergrads as well. Okay, wherever you do decide to go to undergrad, I would highly recommend not just majoring in bio, or I don't even know what would be like the major that everyone does for pre-med. I'm kind of assuming it's biology. You don't have to major in a science-y field to get into medical school. I really kind of came to this conclusion at the end of my time. I think obviously you need to get all of your pre-med requirements in. And as a bio major or like a science major, you get first priority to get all of those classes that you need because it kind of just goes hand in hand with the pre-med requirements as well. So it makes it easier when it comes to getting your classes, but it's not impossible to get those classes without having a bio major. I would maybe take your time, your first year, figuring out what you're into, take random classes, take things that you're actually interested in, see where you have a calling, where you're performing super well in, and what you're doing, not just like as homework to get it done, but what you're actually enjoying learning about. I might as well at myself now because this is advice for myself I wish I would have taken. So for me, I went in, decided bio major. And then my sophomore year, my second year, I decided to take up an anthropology minor. And there was this whole conversation with my mentor from the anthropology department about doing a thesis, but I couldn't do a thesis unless I was an anthropology major or double majored in bio and anthropology. My dilemma was if I became a double major with anthropology and biology, I would not be able to graduate a semester early, which was my plan. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But anthropology was such a big part of my med school application. I pulled so much from it. I had so many different experiences doing research in that field. And you could just tell from my application that I was so into it and I was passionate about it. Bio in college, guys, is not like medical biology, at least for me. Like, I was doing ecology, evolution, I learned about apes, and I enjoyed like most of the bio classes, but I'm just being so for real. Like, so many of those bio classes that I had to take to get the major, I just felt were irrelevant to me. And I wasn't super interested in them. I was just doing it to get the letter grade and move on. So yeah, basically from that, if you have something else that you're interested in that's not just science-based, I would go for it and take that major. You have a different story, and I really do believe med schools like to see that you have other interests, yet you were performing super well in all of your pre-med required classes on top of that. Next piece of advice. Find professors that you like. And in that, I'm trying to say, create close relationships with any professor that you get along with. This goes such a long way, guys. And I think I was definitely at an advantage with this because I went to a small liberal arts school and we were able to become close with our professors. And it's so funny because I remember touring colleges and they always say like the student to faculty ratio. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Is that really important? But if you're looking at colleges and you're looking to go somewhere after the college, I really do think it's great if you have small classes because you're just able to get closer with your professors if you're willing to put in the effort. So for me, I found that my STEM-related professors, I don't know, it was kind of hard to get close with them. They were all kind of hardos, and they were busier because these classes were bigger, and it was just because like so many people needed to get these classes for the bigger, like more populated majors, I would say. But the classes that I took that were kind of more specialized into the major as you get to your last 2 years, or for me, my minor in anthropology, not a lot of people had anthropology minors or majors. Like, there were a decent amount of people in my grade, but there wasn't a lot. So I found that it was way easier to get closer with these professors. And you just kind of have to be annoying, guys. And you can take that as you want. But for me, like, most people probably hate to be in class with me. Like, I will be in the front. I will be raising my hand, participating. Unless I had a rough night before, then I'd be like silent in the class and not even look up. But I really tried to participate in class, and it wasn't really like I tried to do this to get close to the professor. This is kind of just how I am. But where I did have to like put in the effort is going to office hours, going to anything extra the professor offered. And sometimes it was like, this office hour time doesn't really work for me. I'd rather be doing work during this time. But it's just telling yourself It's so much better. The professors see that you're trying. You can make a relationship with them. And the more you see them, just like any relationship, the more you see someone, the more you talk, you just get closer. Like, that's really it. So definitely suggest finding a couple professors that you feel are easy to talk to, approachable, and really putting yourself out there with them, because guys, the rec letters go such a long way. And let me tell you, professors are like basically required to write you rec letters. That's a very broad claiming statement. They don't have to if they don't want to, but at least my med school advisor was telling me, like, they know they're going to have to write rec letters for people. So it should never feel like a burden to ask them. But if you're not that close to the professor, like, yeah, it is kind of a burden for them because they don't really have a lot to say. So get close to the professors. Like for me, I had my anthropology research professor write me one. I had my biochem professor write me one. And I wasn't super close with her, the biochem professor, but I went to like every single office hour because that class was hard for me, but I loved it. Like, I didn't do amazing on all the tests, but I just found the topic so interesting and I wanted to understand it as best I could. And she saw that, and I wish I was a little closer with her, asking her for a rec letter, but when it came down to it, I knew she could highlight my work ethic. And another rec letter for me came from a professor I only had for one semester. He was a physics professor, but I didn't take physics with him. I actually did this special course called Inside Out. And what it is, if no one's heard of Inside Out, the prison exchange course, you have a certain amount of outside students, which are college students, and then you have a certain amount of inside students, which are the inmates at whatever prison this class is taking place in. And for us, the topic of this class was science, technology, and society. It happened every Wednesday from 12 to 3. We took like a 40-minute bus ride to get there, 40 minutes back, but it was so worth it. Just one day a week for 3 hours was like a life-changing semester for me. I absolutely love that class. Not only the stuff that we learned, but the environment we were learning in. It was an all-male state prison, and the guys were just great. Honestly, it was so cool to learn with people that are way different than you. And I met a lot with that professor outside of class just because it was a really project-heavy based class. So there's a lot of teamwork that had to go on, and he wanted to see a lot of it happen. We all went to his house at the end of the semester for like a kind of debrief of the whole class, and we had pizza and Chinese food because we couldn't decide what we wanted. But I loved that experience, and he saw me in a completely different setting outside of our traditional classroom at the university with people that aren't just college students, and he was able to write a great rec letter for me. So yeah, I guess where I'm going with all of this stuff is I think it's good to have a diverse array of professors that have seen you in different settings, environments, different work methods that you do, I guess, if that makes any sense. Obviously, you need some STEM professors in there to attest that you know what science is and you perform well in those classes. But I think anything else in your application that you're highlighting, it's good to have a professor to kind of back you up with that. Okay, next is the lovely MCAT. I'm not even going to attempt to tell anyone how to study because I obviously didn't study right because I didn't do that well in the MCAT, but here we are going to med school, so it can happen for any of you that scored below a 500 like myself. Don't give up hope. So we're not going to talk about studying, but what I do want to say is literally be sitting waiting at your computer whenever the MCAT registration date opens. I don't know what I was doing. I think I just didn't really know when I wanted to take the MCAT when the registration date opened. So I was like, it's fine. Like, I live in New York. There's going to be so many options around me because I knew I wanted to take it in the summer. But it was so hard to find a date and a seat somewhere. Like, that shit goes so fast. So really, really wish I could help my like past self with this, but now anyone that's about to do this, make sure you are there ready to click where you're going to take the MCAT and when you're going to take the MCAT. Even if you're not 100% sure, just do it to have a seat when the day comes. Okay, next piece of advice I would have is use whatever support network you have. Now, this includes friends, family, advisors, research mentors, whoever you have in your life that knows you're going through this. Please, please use them. And by use them, I mean, don't be afraid to tell them what you're going through, to ask for advice. What I really appreciated was like reaching out to people, like even my home friends, to read certain applications or my personal statement, my supplementals. Just getting the more eyes on your application, the better. However, that is a two-sided statement because I think there can be too many eyes on it, and everyone will have an opinion on what you should or shouldn't include, and you kind of have to know what advice to listen to and what to kind of just leave. But I really do believe it's so much better working together with people. You just have more perspectives and other people can catch things that maybe you couldn't. Also, if you know anyone also going through this process that is applying to medical school the same cycle as you, work together. Obviously, you can't copy each other's statements or anything, but I fear that there is just this competitive undertone between undergrads that are going or wanting to go to medical school, and when it comes to like helping each other out with the applications or just working together, talking about it, at least for me, I just felt like it was almost wrong, when in reality, it's great to work together and to, I don't know, maybe someone reminds you, oh, the due date for the school is this, or, oh, did you get an update to your application? Oh, I just did too. This and that. And I think anyone that has gone through this process before that you know of, do not be afraid to reach out to them. At least for me, like if anyone reaches out to me that I've known from undergrad about what to do for medical school, I will be right there ready to respond, because I just want to make this whole pre-med community more of a community and less of a competitive natured community. And maybe you guys don't have that experience, but I definitely felt that at times. Okay, kind of getting to the end of this now when we're actually applying to medical school. Oops. Snapchat from Bestie Gals. Do not disturb. If you are applying, because I guess at this time a lot of people are getting ready to apply this upcoming cycle, do the writing part as soon as you can. Start your personal statement and start your supplementals. Just do a Google Doc and start those things. For me, it was really hard to study for the MCAT while working on this. I don't know why, because in college, you're most likely taking 4 classes at once and you just find a way to balance all of them. But for me, I graduated a semester early and was like literally just studying for the MCAT. And I was like, oh, anytime I'm working on the writing part, I'm giving up time for studying for the MCAT, but you need to. I suggest time blocking your day, having a couple hours studying, a couple hours writing, break, couple hours studying, couple hours writing. And this will just set you up to click that submit button on your application whenever it first opens. Obviously, so many people tell you the earlier you apply, the better, just because a lot of medical schools are on rolling cycles where they accept the applications as they come in, or they offer interviews as they come in. And with that being said, I do know of people that have applied what would be considered kind of later in the cycle and still did well. So take that as you will, but just for me personally, it helps to know that those things are out of the way. And I wish I would have made more time in my days, those months studying for the writing part of this application as well. After you do submit your initial application, then you have lovely secondaries to worry about next. So it's never ending, guys. It is never ending. But the secondaries, very proud of myself, very much so on top of that. I think it's because I was home as the beginning of the summer, like July, and I just had the time. I looked up all the schools I applied to, their secondaries either on Reddit, the Student Doctor Network, and just pre-wrote them. And let me tell you, I reduced, reused, and recycled so many of them, adding like the different names of the school, adding different parts that the secondary prompts wanted me to address for the different schools. So just kind of get the ball rolling, I would say, because again, you want to look at this process as submitting everything as soon as you can. It's crazy, guys. Like, it's just a crazy application process. I never, ever want to do it again. So good luck to everyone that is doing it now. But it does come to an end eventually. Don't worry. And it's kind of your last sprint where you're so close to the finish line. You've been studying. You've been working for 4 years in undergrad. Now this is your kind of final push. And then you get to relax for quite a bit until your interviews start rolling in. Okay, next piece of it. Oh, hey, you. So Mother has joined us, and I'm going to ask her, what is her piece of advice for anyone applying to med school? I just was recording an episode on like what I wish I knew going into this process. So what do you have to say?
Hi, I'm Tori's mom. First of all, I didn't go to med school, so I'm a nurse, and I went to nursing school when I was much younger, and I had younger children. Tori was only 4 at the time. I wish I had continued on and maybe gone to med school or been a psychiatrist, but getting to the point, what would I say going into med school?
Like the process.
Oh, the whole process.
Would you, piece of advice for anyone going through the process?
Going through the process, stick with it. If you have always wanted to be a doctor and you feel that that is where your passion lays and you're not afraid of hard work, don't give up no matter what anybody says to you.
Yes.
If you feel it in your bones, go for it. You have the rest of your life to relax and everything else, but just go for it because now is the time. Don't wait. Don't second guess yourself.
Ugh. She's so cute. I love her. The joys of living at home, everyone. It's a Saturday, so Mother is out and about, and you have to go through my room to get to the laundry room, so she popped in. Alrighty, I think I'm going to end this episode here. Our last piece of advice being from my lovely mom. But I hope this helped anyone that is about to enter the process. I kind of thought the timing was good because a lot of people are getting closer to applying this cycle now. It's so crazy. My cycle's like basically over and the next one is here. So good luck to all of you that are going to apply. You got this. The biggest kind of hurdle is like deciding that you're applying and then just kind of getting on it with the studying for the MCAT, and the rest will come. I wish I knew a lot of this stuff going into the process. Now I do, so I hope that I could help anyone with sharing these little tidbits I have found. And yeah, everyone have a fabulous week, as this will be Monday, I guess, when everyone's listening to it. And stay tuned for the next episode for White Coat Chronicles with Tori. Okay, bye. Hi, everyone. This is just me and my laptop. If you made it to the end this far, hi. This is going up a little later than I wanted to because I thought Sunday night I would come home and like post it at 12 a.m. But your girl got drunk on a Sunday, and it was, oh my gosh. I have taken off work today and have been rotting all day. This is bad. This is really, really bad, but just wanted to include that. Okay, goodbye.